Hello friends, you are watching C programming tutorial classes brought to you by AngPro Training. In this class, we'll be learning the control statements that are present in C language, and we'll also work out some programs to demonstrate control statements. So first we'll understand what are the control statements in C programming. Decision making statements or structures are also called as control structures, right? So control statements or control structures, decision making statements, all are the same. So when we use them, they are used when the programmer wants to check or test a logical condition, like whether 3 is greater than 2 or not, or some variable has the same value of other or not. So in such conditions we're going to use the control statements of, so control statements are very useful when we want to check the logical condition, or we want to make the logical decision depending on the conditions given. Okay, so in decision making statements, a statement or a group of statements are executed when the condition is true. So while making the decision, first we check for the condition. Normally conditions are in the Boolean expressions. If the condition is evaluated to true, then we're going to execute a statement or a set of statements. So all these execution depend upon the so this execution of the statements depends upon the true or falsity of the logical condition. So, and we also write other statements when the condition evaluates to false, right? So there are certain number of conditions for when the condition evaluated to true, and there are some other statements which we're going to execute when the condition gets false, or it's evaluated to false. Normally we make use of logical operators in the test conditions, right? By making use of logical operators, we are going to build the conditions, test conditions or logical conditions. If you're not aware of the logical conditions, what are the logical conditions, just go and watch our second or third video where we have discussed about all the types of operators in C program. Right now, look at the control statements, various control statements in C programming. The if statement, if else statement, nested if, and nested if else if ladder. So these are the four different types of control statements in C programming. So all are works differently. In some area they look similar, but not really. They are used in the various situations, but they are really useful in the C programming. So if statement checks the given condition. Okay, when we are using the if statement, we go and put a condition, logical condition, to check if the test condition is evaluated to true. Statements inside the block of if are executed, right? If test expression is evaluated to false, statements inside the body of if are skipped, and the control goes to the next set of statements or to the next block of code, right? So let's see the syntax or the basic structure of if statement. So first we'll write the keyword if. As you can see on the screen, first we'll write the if keyword. So if is a keyword used for the logical testing. Okay. So followed by the test condition. Normally we put the test condition inside the parenthesis. So whenever the control encounters this statement, it goes inside the parenthesis and checks the condition. Okay. So this is the snapshot of the if statement. Inside a pair of curly braces, we're going to put one or more statements to be executed when this condition evaluates to true, right? If the condition evaluates to false, then none of the statements inside this braces are executed. Okay, no statement is going to executed when the condition is false. So these statements are executed only when the condition is true. Let's suppose say I have put 2 more than 3. If 2 more than 3, execute these statements. Is really 2 more than 3? No, right? So none of the statements will be executed. So the entire code will be skipped from the execution, and the next statement of the program is going to be evaluated or going to be executed. So friends, in this program I'm going to show you how to find the biggest number among two numbers. Okay, so for that I'm going to use the if statement, which checks both the numbers, which compares both the numbers and will find out the biggest of two numbers, right? For that I'm going to use two variables of type int, num1, where I'm storing the value 10, and another variable called num2 having value 20, right? So these are the two variables which I'm going to compare together and we'll find out the biggest of two numbers, right? Okay, so what is the structure of if statement? First write the keyword if and a pair of brackets, right, and a pair of curly brackets where the code lies when this condition gets true, right? So inside the parenthesis I will compare these two variables, num1 and num2, right? Num1 more than num2. So here first I will compare the num1 for the greatness, right? So what this will return, if num1 is more than num2, this will return 1 or 0, right? If it is 1, the condition is true, so the whatever I have inside here will execute, right? So here I will tell printf value in num1 is more, right? So let us try this, control F9. So we have got the blank screen, nothing is showing here, right? Why? Because I have checked the number greatness of, because I'm checking here for the variable num1 whether it is more than num2 or not. So if it is, this will be printed, but actually num1 has lesser value than num2, right? So what if num2 is more than num1? I have to specify that also. So for that I'll be using one more if statement. If variable num2 is more than variable num1, then go and print this statement, printf value in num2 is more, control F9. Yes, value in num2 is more. So let us change the value here in num2, 5. Now I got num2, now I got 5 in num2. Let's run this again. So value in num1 is more. So what's happening here? I got 10 in num1, 5 in num2. When the control comes to this statement here, the num1 replaces with 10 and num2 with 5. So is 10 more than 5? Yes. Then the control goes inside this block and will print this statement. So if this happened, after this execution the control will come to here and checks for this condition, num2 5. Is 5 more than 10? No, right? So nothing will execute here. Whatever the code is inside this block will be skipped, and I'll get the last statement, which is get ch here, right? So now let's go and accept two numbers from the user and we'll find out biggest of those two numbers, right? So I will erase, so I'll not be initializing this time. So now I'll be asking for the numbers from the users. So here I'm asking the user to enter values. Please enter two values to check. right? And to accept the values entered by user, I'm using scanf. So how many values I'm going to accept? Two integers, right? So 2% is must be here, %d, %d, and now ampersand num1 comma ampersand num2, right? So these are the two variables that are going to have the incoming integers, right? So what if num1 is more than num2? So I will tell the user with the specific number. So value, so I will tell %d is, so I'll tell %d is bigger than %d. If num1 is more than num2, so what should come in the first %d? Num1, right? In the %d, in the second %d plus num2. So that should be placed here, num1 comma num2. So this is the order of the integers that are going to, that %d's are going to have here. So if this has not happened, control comes to this place and checks the num2, the value of num2 for the greatness. If num2 is more than num1, this will be printed. %d is bigger than %d, that is num2 is bigger than num1. Let's go and try this. Hey user, please enter two values to check. Okay, 3, enter 5. 5 is bigger than 3. That's right. Let's try one more time. 1023. 1000 is bigger than 23. So that is what we have expected, right? So I hope you understood this program. And friends, in this program I'm going to check the given number for positiveness, right? So I'm going to accept an integer and I'll check whether the accepted integer is positive or negative or 0, right? So how do we normally check for positiveness? So what are the positive integers? Whatever the number after 0 or more than 0 are positive numbers, right? And the numbers below 0 are negative numbers, and the number equal to 0 is the 0, right? So let's go and do that. So I'm going to have a single variable here that's enough for storing a single incoming number, that I mean an integer. So let me add the clear screen function first here, and I'll tell the user to enter number. Please enter a number to check, right? Since I'm going to accept a single variable, so just 1% is enough here, right? And that will be stored in the variable called num. So what should be the condition here? If the variable num is more than 0, so I'm going to say %d is positive integer, right? If num is less than 0, printf %d is negative integer, right? So here I should have the variable num here as well. So right, so user enters a value which will be stored in the variable num, and I'm going to check the value of num for the positiveness or negativeness. So if num is more than 0, I'll tell the user %d, that means num is a positive number. else it's a negative number. So both will be checked. If above gets true, that means I've entered a positive number. If you carefully observe here, I did not have this sentence inside the curly brackets. Why? Because here I got just a single statement, which is printf here, nothing else, right? So just a single statement. If you have a single statement to be executed, just put it without the curly braces. Curly braces are not needed here, because curly braces are needed when there are more than one statement. To group the multiple statements, we need the curly brackets. Right? So since we have just a single statement, so no curly brackets are needed. This will be definitely executed when the condition gets true. So remember, when you have more than one statement, make sure that you are putting all together in the curly braces. So this will also work very fine. So no curly braces for one statement is also fine. Let's go and run this program. Control F9. So please enter a number to check, right? 3 is positive integer. Okay, that's also fine. Control F9. 5 is also positive integer. -4 is negative integer, right? Control F9. 0, so 0, nothing. So when I enter the 0, I'm getting nothing here, right? Because I have not put any condition to check for 0, right? If num equal to 0, then I'll be having this statement. This is 0, right? Yes, right. So this is how we're going to check for a number for positiveness, right? So open your compiler and try out this program. Well friends, that's it for the class. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and join our group on LinkedIn. Thank you.